Coming up on R&B Reviews, The Host, another film based on a book series by Twilight author Stephanie Meyer, hits the big screen. I will give you my thoughts coming your way.
We have been invaded by another species who erase our minds to take our bodies. But there are a few of us left who still fight back.
Barely a bone not broken, no organ ruptured.
This one wants to live. When we occupy this host, our memories will lead us to the resistance.
Hello, I'm Rob, and thanks very much for checking out this channel. The Host is a sci-fi romance film based on another series of books by Stephanie Meyer, and before going into this movie, I was really unsure on what I would be expecting. The trailers did make it look like it could be a good film, and the cast features some people that I really admire. For example, the leading actress, I always mispronounce her first name. I think it's Saoirse Ronan, something like that. I'm sorry. I'm sure somebody's going to post a comment correcting the correct pronunciation. But she was from the movie Hannah. She was also in another movie called Atonement. The movie also had Diane Kruger as well as William Hurt. And the writer and director was Andrew Niccol, who wrote The Truman Show, and he also wrote The Terminal, and he also directed a very interesting film called Simone. But since Stephanie Meyer's work tends to polarize people, I gotta say I found the film itself to be very polarizing. The story is pretty much set in the future where Earth has become perfect. There's no more violence, there's more kindness, and you know what? You know why? Because aliens have invaded Earth, taking over human bodies, erasing their old memories and identity, and there's also a group of human rebels trying to avoid being taken over. One of these is a human named Melanie Strider. She's captured and an alien is inserted into her. However, the alien realizes that Melanie's personality has not been erased and is fighting to maintain her personality, and the two of them sort of occupy the same body, so she ends up escaping from the aliens in order to try to find other humans. The Host, I thought, was a very well-shot film that presents very interesting ideas, including, loss of freedom, the world being boring if there was no more conflict, which I have been saying for years. But I found the dialogue to be very stilted and expository, and I felt like I did not get to know the characters. I mean, for example, I know who Melanie was, I know what she'd been through, but I felt like I did not get to know her. I felt like I didn't know really who she was. And it was also very hard for me to root for her and the alien in her body as a result. Now, I'll be upfront, I have never read the book, so I don't know how faithful this movie is to the book or even how many pages it is, because I don't know if it's like a thin book that was just stretched beyond the possibility for a film, or whether it was a huge-ass book and Andrew Niccol tried to put everything into it and it just wasn't possible. But regardless, I really didn't care too much for the film's format. The movie started out as a series of quick flashbacks, and after a while, I no longer really cared about what I was seeing, and I just got tired of the story. I mean, the story did slow down in the second half, and it allowed a little bit more character development, but by this time I felt like it was just too little and too late, and I lost interest, because the first half to me just felt like a crash course of telling the audience what happened to Melanie, how she got there. But during the movie, I just could not help but think that this should have been adapted as a TV miniseries instead of a film. You could have a 1 hour, maybe 2 hour episodes, anywhere from like 6 to 13 episodes, in order to allow us to know and care about these characters, why the aliens chose Earth, learn a little bit more about Melanie's personality. And the acting itself, for me, was kind of a mixed bag. There was some stiff and unemotional ones, while there was some actors trying to put in an effort. For example, I could tell Ronan was really putting in some sort of effort in this very difficult task of sort of playing two characters in one, while the leader of the rebel humans, played by William Hurt, he just looked like he was just going through the motions and did not care about what he was doing. I also felt that the film lacked the needed suspense that was needed. For example, there were times when the humans might be captured by aliens, and I felt like it lacked suspense and tension there. I kept going back and forth during the movie and while I was preparing this video, trying to decide how to rate this movie, whether to say, wait till it comes out on DVD and you can rent it, or to snuff it. I like the concept of, an alien from another world learning what it is like to be human. I also thought it was well shot, but I felt like the story was either too rushed or too slow. There was just not enough, tension and suspense, and I did not care for the characters or this love triangle that happens in the film, and the dialogue just did not sound right to me. So, okay, so I think that I'm probably going to be, people will probably say I'm being a little bit too nice, but I think I'm going to give this movie a rented on DVD rating. It's not a bad film, it's okay, it has potential, but I felt like, you know, like they were, in a way, they were trying to cram so much into this movie and do this crash course about what happened beforehand, and then the second half slows down nicely, but it felt like it just took too long to get there. So maybe somebody will look at The Host and say, you know what, let's see if this would work better as a miniseries. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give The Host a rented on DVD rating. And now I'm going to open the floor to you. If you have seen The Host, go ahead and post your thoughts about the movie, or if you have any feedback on the channel or this video, I do greatly appreciate it. So thanks very much for watching.